We pass Seth's apartment, where a gauzy white bedsheet hangs in the window, illuminated by the light over his work table. I imagine him smoking weed, listening to Kurt Weill, painting color studies in his sketchbook. He texted me just as Brian arrived and invited me over. I was disappointed by his tenderness, his willingness to have me in his space. It makes me look like a bad person. We park down the street from the beach and walk hand in hand down the brick road, past craftsman houses cloaked in darkness. We cross the last road to the Gulf of Mexico and are met with the sulphurous stench of red tide. We look out at the water, but it's too dark to see the fish kills lying along the shore. Brian turns toward me and lifts my shirt to find the small of my back. My body lights up. I realize I've stopped breathing and inhale, coughing at the smell. He pulls me over to a dune, and I kneel to take him in my mouth. It's past midnight when he drops me off at Seth's apartment. The light above the work table is off, but the light beside his chaise is on, which means he's reading. I take the alley down the side of his building, past the group home for teenage mothers, so I can enter from the back to give him the idea that I've walked to his house from my own. I cross the crushed shell parking lot and climb a set of sun-bleached wooden stairs. I knock on his kitchen window. The warm light from his bedroom spills down the hall when he opens the door. He moves to let me in. "Odessa said you told her you were helping me with something," he says. I didn't want to talk on the phone anymore, and I didn't want to hurt her feelings, I say. "What were you doing?" "Finishing an article." He closes the door behind me and gestures toward his room. "I walked by your apartment and didn't see a light on." "I might have been in the bath." He's covered the rugs with plastic tarps. A vertical canvas, recently primed, leans against the wall atop a waist-high bookshelf of tattered monographs. He's pulled out 2 by Richard Diebenkorn and Gerhard Richter and laid them open on the work table. Several color-filled paintings lean together against another shelf of paperbacks. I sit on the chaise longue. "What were you doing so late at the gallery?" I say. As the artist in residence at Black Box, Seth is paid for 9 hours of work there every week, but as it happens, he ends up working almost 40. Last week, I went with him to the home of the gallery's owner. Their conversation centered on small-town gossip, gallery business, and light flirtation of the kind gay men employ with straight men. Seth reciprocated and deflected, ever aware that his reputation, his future, and his self-image were in Theo's hands. My mind was 2 mirrors facing each other. I pretended to be absorbed by Theo's collection of African diaspora art. I wasn't actually engaged until Theo asked me about my progress on the inaugural issue of Numina, the gallery's flagship publication, which Seth volunteered me to edit. "People are submitting," I told Theo. "I'd be happy to go over it with you this week." It's clear he continues to hope that I'm temporary, 2 years after meeting me. He refers to me sarcastically as Dorothy Parker. "That would be fine," he said. Seth closes the monographs. "Theo entrusted me with the deinstallation of the Emerging Artist Show," he says. "Taking down a show involves removing artwork from the walls, wrapping it properly for shipping, patching the walls, repainting them, mopping the floors. It's not glamorous, but it affords me time for contemplation." "What were you contemplating?" "The situation I find myself in." He swirls a paintbrush in a yogurt container filled with water. He taps it gently on the brim and lays it on a paper towel. "A studio practice utilizes various discoveries," he says. "My recent discovery is that direct confrontation leads to a personal clarification of environmental relations. The most urgent themes in art break down barriers between people. Yet, a studio is a place of isolation, a contradiction. And in the present period, my studio practice is not solitary." "Are you saying you want me to leave?" "I don't believe that's what I said." "I'm not sure what you're saying." The polemic push of the organism against the uncontrolled dynamics of his environment can be